Welcome to the Hunger Action Heroes podcast. Hunger Action Heroes is a production of the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent. The Food Bank of the Golden Crescent was established in 1986 as the Community Food Bank in Victoria, Texas. Our mission is helping heal the hurt of hunger in our 11-county service area: Calhoun, Colorado, DeWitt, Goliad, Gonzales, Jackson, Lavaca, Matagorda, Refugio, Victoria, and Wharton. We passionately advocate for a hunger-free Texas. Your host, Chris Doelle, will bring you a message from our sponsor and get right into the episode. Stick around.
The Hunger Action Heroes podcast by the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent is made possible by the generous support of the HEB Hunger Relief Program. HEB Hunger Relief works year-round to fight hunger in Texas and Mexico. Hunger relief has been a key focus for HEB since the first store opened back in 1905. For more than a century now, HEB's commitment and involvement in the communities it serves has been an important part of the way the company does business. Since the inception of the Hunger Relief Program, HEB has donated over 1 billion pounds of food to help nourish neighbors in communities throughout Texas and Mexico. Thank you to the HEB Hunger Relief Program.
All right, everybody join me in welcoming Robin Cadle. How are you doing, Robin?
I'm good. How are you, Chris?
Good. First off, I want to congratulate you on the launch of the Hunger Action Heroes podcast.
Thank you. We're excited. We're excited to work with you on doing this.
Yeah. So for people who are like, okay, what is this show going to be about? Can you give us just kind of an overview?
Well, we're hoping to share information about food insecurity, hunger, our mission of helping heal the hurt of hunger, and just making sure that people are aware that their neighbors in need can be their own neighbors or the people in their backyard. So we want people to be more aware of what's going on and how hunger is not just a homeless person on the street.
That's true.
It could be our own family members.
Yeah. And for people who don't understand the scope of what the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent does, give us the 30,000-foot view.
Okay. Well, we are a distribution warehouse, first off, that supplies food to member agencies, which member agencies are food pantries or soup kitchens, church pantries, things like that. And then we also have programs for kids' weekend meals to elementary children. We also provide SNAP assistance or social service assistance across our 11 counties. We also, the farmers market is under the food bank now. So the Farmers Market Association is within our house, and we have a farmers market manager that takes care of that. And while the farmers are on their own, they will occasionally donate produce, leftover produce, to the food bank. We also have just recently been approved by TDA to do a program called CSFP, which is Commodity Supplemental Feeding Program. This is strictly for seniors that are 60 and older that qualify. We do mobile distributions with TFAP food, which is a little different than the CSFP. We use lots of acronyms here. Yeah. And so your head's probably spinning.
A little bit.
But mobile distributions are for anyone that qualifies in the 11 counties that we serve.
Wow. Whereas
the CSFP program is for 60 years and older. Our seniors, our 60 years and older, are our most vulnerable with the children population. We want to make sure that we get them fed and have access to food.
Yeah, and you mentioned a weekend program for kids. A lot of people don't realize that school meals are like sometimes the only food that kid gets.
Absolutely.
And you don't even imagine, well, what do they do on the weekend?
What are they doing in the summer?
Yeah, that's true.
When there's no access. And a lot of these students are on the free breakfast and the free lunch. And just recently, when we made a presentation to a funder for this program, they asked how many students in Victoria County would qualify. So I did the research. It was over 9,000.
Wow.
9,000. We serve about 700 in Victoria.
Oh, so you got a lot of room.
We have a lot of room, but it requires a lot of money.
Yeah.
For us to serve the 9,000 children, it would be $1.8 million.
Wow.
We typically have about 350 to 375,000 to serve our whole areas, and we have a lot of great donors that help us do that.
Nice. And you brought up money. The one stat that's on your website is the $1 equals 8 meals.
Absolutely.
Explain that.
It's not the way that you and I would go to the store and buy 8 meals worth of food. It is the way that we leverage government funding, private donations, donations of food from like H-E-B's, Walmart's, or other food vendors. It's the leveraging that helps us provide 8 meals for every dollar donated.
That's so awesome. And speaking of H-E-B, they are the title sponsor for this show.
Absolutely. They really were excited to hear that we were doing a podcast and jumped on the bandwagon. So they'll be our primary sponsor.
I love that.
But then we'll have some others along the way that are interested that we've reached out to.
Yeah, definitely. And then let's go back to the seniors because in addition to food, a lot of times seniors need interaction as much as anything. How does this address that?
This program through the CSFP, they drive through, and a lot of times it's just interaction. It's quick interaction, but it's a hello. It's how are you doing?
Human. Yeah.
And a lot of these people, when we did our first distribution at 3809, our old location, and I witnessed the fact that they knew these ladies who are always doing our mobile distributions, and they're almost like family.
Yep. They're
like, how are you? How's the kids? And this. So it's heartwarming to see that.
Yeah, that's huge. It's one of those side things that doesn't show up on a spreadsheet.
No, it does not. You're right. It does not.
I love that.
But like you said, it's a key metric for us that they are interacting.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned your old location. We're in your beautiful new location. Talk about this.
Well, 2022, we were able to move into the 801 South Laurent location. It took us from 2019 till that time to get it renovated and expanded. And it's about 47,000 square feet, sitting on 7 acres. So we still have lots of plans for the remaining acreage. And but it's nice to be able to move around and have a little bit more room. Great for our volunteers. It's not so crowded. But we have gone back to using the 3809 for some programs, and we were grateful that it just didn't sell. So, God has his own plans, and we are grateful for that. So we're back there. So we're now a 2-location food bank.
Nice. And speaking of this facility, I don't want to give the impression that I'm here volunteering all the time because unfortunately I can't. But I have volunteered.
But you have volunteered several times.
And I was so impressed by the systems, the flow. Talk about that, because that's huge, how productive it is here.
It's kind of like a mini assembly line.
Yeah.
We put together a lot of rescue boxes that we give out at mobile distributions. And it could be anywhere from 52 boxes to 375 boxes, depending upon the location. And those boxes are prepared by volunteers like yourself and our 2 or 3 staff members. So it has to be kind of an assembly line, and it has to be efficient. But we've been doing this so long that it's much easier now. Yeah. And the fact that we have more room to do it helps a lot.
Yeah. And tell me if this is true, because when I was here, they said, we set a record for the most we got out in that set time. Is that something they tell everybody just so we feel good about it?
It is not something they tell everybody. It is not. No. But they do kind of track that.
Yeah.
And it helps them determine if 10 volunteers makes a difference versus 2 volunteers, or what is that sweet spot?
Yeah.
Because if we have 30 volunteers, then we want to dedicate X number here and maybe set up another one over here. But we also, besides rescue boxes, we have to keep this warehouse clean.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of sweeping and dusting that goes on, and a lot of our volunteers will help us do that. So it's finding the sweet spot for that particular project of rescue boxes, and knowing what the outcome is going to be before we get started.
Yeah, I love the fact, and I'm a stats nerd, I love the fact that you track things and you measure and you evaluate.
Every grant that we apply for wants a measurement and an evaluation, and we kind of want to know how we're doing ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Prior to us connecting, I thought the food bank, it's where the homeless people get some food. And these food pantries, that was just a local version of the same thing. I didn't realize the network that is there and how you actually provide for these pantries. Explain that network.
It actually starts on a much higher level. Feeding America is a national organization. And as a food bank, we are in that national organization. We chose to be a member because it provides access to funding, advocacy, best practices, all kinds of things. On the state level, we're a member of Feeding Texas, which does a lot of advocacy and also access to grants locally, but also in times of disasters, that network. And that Feeding Texas network is made up of the 21 food banks in Texas.
Okay.
Feeding America is made up of almost 200 food banks across the United States. So it's a lot of good information flowing. So on the local level, it's the food bank. And we work with probably close to 98 to 100 member agencies, which are the food pantries, the soup kitchens, the church pantries across our 11 counties, which, on an average, that could be 10 in a county. But some counties have more. We have 9 rural counties, which is a lot of food deserts. There's no grocery stores nearby. And if there is a little convenience store or something, prices are crazy.
Yeah.
I've heard of $6 and $7 gallon of milk and a loaf of bread. So having these pantries, of course, the pantries aren't open every day like we are.
Right.
Some are open every other week. Some are open twice a month. It just depends. But on our website, we have a map of all of our pantries that are member agencies, and also a pantry list, so that if you're in a Matagorda County, you can get on our site, see what's there for Matagorda. They can also come here for a one-time emergency food box. We don't specifically give out food. Some food banks do distribute out of their location.
Right.
We don't. We're not in a situated environment that we could do that safely without the police coming and saying, "Why are you blocking traffic?"
Right.
So the network, all of our member agencies are not staffed with paid volunteers. They are all volunteers out of the kindness of their heart, and they're all seniors. We have one agency in Weimar it's ran by the high school, the FFA program, and it's Weimar We Can. They're the youngest food pantry we have. Everything else is by our seniors, and we've got to get some younger people involved in these pantries, or they will go away.
Yeah, no doubt. Is it typical for a food bank to have such a big region, the whole 11 counties, and they're big counties?
Yes. We are, there's some food banks in the Feeding America network that have bigger counties. And I think it's in Maine. I think there's 2 food banks for the whole state. So, of course, not every state has the 254 counties like Texas does.
Texas,
But Midland,
you can
Odessa,
fit Maine into a couple counties.
Absolutely. Midland, Odessa, there is that it's West Central Texas. They have 2 locations, one in Midland, one in Odessa. They serve a really large area. Our area is probably not as large as it could be, but not as small as some. Right.
So getting back to the title of this show, Hunger Action Heroes, explain that, because when I learned about that, I was like, that's so cool.
In my heart, when volunteers walk through that door, or when funders send us money, or when donors send me $1 in an envelope, they're heroes. They're helping us with our mission. So they're Hunger Action heroes. We can't take action without them.
Yeah.
So that's why I really like the theme of Hunger Action Heroes. It's on our thank you cards. It's anywhere I can use it, I will use it, because we couldn't do what we do.
Yeah.
It's a collaboration and partnership of many parts.
Nice. And you mentioned the website. What is the website?
The website is tfbgc.org, and that stands for the Food Bank Golden Crescent.org.
Nice.
We'd love for people to go visit it.
Yeah. We mentioned donations, but what are the other ways people can assist?
They can, of course, volunteer.
Right.
They can donate. They can also advocate for us. Word of mouth is important. Like we talked about food banks, food pantries. Many people think that a pantry is a food bank. It's not. So education helps. Sharing, that they know of people that's been helped by the food bank. Also, if you have friends that are in the House or the locally in Austin, you can advocate for us. You can help us reach our congressmen and our state representatives. The Farm Bill is an example. Before I came to the food bank, I did not realize how important the Farm Bill was to food banks. It's not just for farmers.
Right.
A lot of the SNAP, the food stamps, the areas that help food banks get produce and funding for food that comes in through the government is housed in that state Farm Bill. So it's always changing year to year, and we need people that want to pay attention and be on our team, that we can share what we need the Congress and our state representatives to hear that makes sense. I mean, just a few years ago, when someone applied for food stamps, which is the SNAP program, the value of their vehicle would prevent them. And it may have been an old clunker. And it could have been worth $4,000. It stopped them from getting food stamps. And that values never changed over a period of many, many years, 10 plus years. We worked with Feeding Texas and some others and got that level, that value brought up to where it doesn't hurt as many people now. It's little minor things like that you don't think about. Because, we've heard of people getting $10 in SNAP benefits. Not sure what $10 does anymore at the grocery store.
Right.
But I know it's not much.
Yeah.
But we want them to get and SNAP benefits are more helpful because that client can go to the grocery store and get specifically what they need.
Right.
What we can give them here is what we get.
Yes.
And that varies month to month. So the SNAP benefits are critical.
Cool.
Because there's some people who are diabetic. Some people have heart issues that they have to have specific food, and we want them to have access to that.
Yeah. Nice. Well, Robin Cadle, gosh, I want to thank you so much for obviously being our inaugural guest, but more importantly for this whole series, because I'm so looking forward to helping tell this story.
Well, we appreciate you, and we wouldn't want to tell this story with anyone but you.
You're too kind.